Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Friday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Glenora Shipura. In the news tonight, Erongo Governor Neville Andres says he would like to see value addition occur in the lithium sector instead of having the resources shipped out so that impoverished communities reap the benefits. He made the comments following a community briefing in Uis. Mines Minister Tom Alwindo is also expected to brief the community.
In the world. And Namibia has a very significant reserve of these minerals. Specifically here in Taurus constituency also, a good number of deposits are here. And we would want also to see that because we provide a lot of these minerals to the world, those that are coming to mine here, in the plan of empowering our people, we need to have processing plants in future where our people can also be empowered and also be employed and be part of the whole value chain. Because we would also not want to see our raw materials being shipped out, which will again export the employment and the revenue that is supposed to come to our nation.
Still with the same news story, Mines Minister Tom Alwindo says mining companies should contribute to the development of communities they mine in and respect the costumes and traditions of the communities they are mining in. He made the call during a meeting with the community members in Uis.
To be good corporate citizens. Yes. Good corporate citizens simply means that it cannot be correct for you to be a mining company which is profitable and you are deriving that profit in an area that is so underdeveloped, but you are not in any way prepared actually to be part of that community and also assist the community also to increase their development. So that's a call that we are making to say, for example, most of our mining it so happens that they are usually in the underdeveloped areas. So it cannot correct, for example, you are a mining corporations that are making good money. You are mining next to a community that does not have a borehole for clean water. But you can not even spend money actually to create a borehole for the community. So that's really very important thing. And although the corporate social responsibility is not an issue that is legislated, it doesn't have to be. But for you to be successful as a company, I'm sure you also agree with me that you need to be part of that community. You need to be accepted within that community. You need to respect the tradition and the culture of that community, and you become part of the community. That will be the only way I think long-term sustainability can be achieved, even by you as a corporate company. So,
Daure Daman community member Cornelia Ashiwara says Mines Minister Tom Alwindo must hold Chinese company Zinfeng Lithium to account for illegal mining activities it is conducting.
So the issue on the ground is, I was so disappointed, should I say, when I see that the site visit will be on the, what is the company? Longfire. When we start this petitioning and all these things, we have not petitioned against Longfire. Our issue as the community and the surrounding of Uis was based on the Zinfeng company that is mining illegally. So, as per the Act of Mines and Energy, when are we following? Is it only for Namibians and not for Chinas? I'm not against Chinas, but what I'm asking, Chinas can come mine illegally, but when our people mine to eat from that, then I must be introduced to an act that is wrong. Honorable Minister, we are sorry, but we want to be briefed, and I will give floor to my colleague, and we will take us through what is on the ground, and we want to talk. This is the only opportunity we get. Today we are lucky that we have a full house. I see the traditional leaders of our clan that is long away from us are also sitting here, and we want to talk. Please.
Fly Namibia held a press briefing to discuss the events in which a physically disabled woman, Elizabeth Angonji, was denied boarding due to non-compliance with the airline's conditions of carriage. Ebenhard Riponda from the Namibia Association of Wheelchair Users said this event signified people with disabilities getting fair and equal treatment in any and every situation. Events of this nature make sure that people with disabilities are substantially catered for, and service delivery information is shared well in advance to make sure that people with disabilities are not discriminated against.
Hi, my name is Ebenhard Riponda. I'm representing Namibia Association of Wheelchair Users. And I think the significance of this press briefing or such event is just to advocate for persons with disabilities, to make sure that persons with disabilities are catered for in substantially, or information for service delivery to persons with disability is clarified way ahead of time, and with the relevant brochures or any publication to be able to make sure that persons with disabilities are not discriminated against. So that's the relevance of us attending this event, and also really just coming to ask and make sure every relevant decision is made. Thank you.
The Commersdal constituency income generating projects held a handover ceremony this Friday afternoon at the Commersdal constituency office. The project awarded a total of 21 local businesses from the Commersdal and Ochomwise constituencies with machinery and equipment necessary to grow their businesses, ranging from ovens, fridges, gazebos, and sewing machines. Beneficiaries applied earlier in the year for grants as entrepreneurs and self-employed individuals to grow their respective businesses.
The no tailoring is owned by Ms. Victoria Ndaruka. We have seen what she does. I see she brought something just to show you her capability. Wow. That one should be my side. Okay, you can see she's there at the back showing you what she does. And we just made it easy for her to have the best machine that she can use. Thank you very much. Ms. Wanana Papama is the owner of Whitey Herrero Red, operated in Amsterdam. And you know what? When we visited her, remember our visits are surprise visits. We don't tell you whether you're coming to visit you. We were surprised because we found her busy with bread in a pot that is kind of buried somewhere there. And we were amazed by how she implements the skills that she has in order to run the business. Just for her to make it. Thank you very much, Ms. Ms. Martha Shekupe Amavila is another beneficiary of ours. Ms. Martha is operating kind of a mini butchery at home. So what she does is she buys meat, packages it, and sells it to the people in the community in Amsterdam.
Council Chairman Dulipula Hamutumwa said Debmarine Namibia is a national icon, employing more than 1,100 highly qualified employees and recognized by the Ministry of Finance and the tax agency, NAMRA, as the highest contributor to value-added tax to corporate income tax and the biggest contributor to the government's income for 2021. According to him, all Namibians can also be proud. Chief Executive Officer Willie Martins, during Debmarine's Namibia's annual stakeholders meeting at Drombos, mentioned the equal partnership between the government and diamond giant De Beers and how they are progressing regards to safety.
Football can attest that our brand has started to make waves around the whole country. So let's give them a round of applause. Directors of ceremony, we are humbled to receive recognition from the Ministry of Finance in 2022 through the Namibia Revenue Agency for being, number one, the highest contributor to value-added tax in Namibia, the highest contributor to corporate income tax, and the overall top revenue contributor in 2021 season. Namibia is a pioneer in the marine diamond industry, or diamond recovery. We are proud of the positive contribution to the economic development of the country and the growth of the shareholders' value.
A safe and healthy operation is our first priority. We had 3 lost time injuries, as you can see on the graph there, and that for us is 3 too many. We implemented what we call a safety reset program across the business, and I'm pleased to say that we've seen some significant improvement if you look at our safety record since 2008, where we had 9 injuries. But safety is not a destination, it's a journey. You'll also notice there that we have had no occupational health cases, no significant environmental incidents, and none of that is by chance. It's through the resilient and dedicated workforce that our chairperson was talking about that we have out there on the vessels. We have a consistent approach to safety, health and environment as we strive to achieve zero harm for our people and our environment.
In our Community Talk segment, we take a look at the human rights indaba that took place at the Tunana Building Hall at the International University of Management. All this after the break.
NMH at 1 brings you news from all across Namibia. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact nmh1@synergy.com.na. NMH at 1, your lunchtime news companion.
The human rights indaba took place at the Tunana Building Hall at the International University of Management. Ben Amadila, stalwart of the liberation struggle, shares with us how the date 21 March was chosen as the day of Namibian independence.
The Rand Daily Mail, a formidable fighter for all the evils that apartheid brought upon our shoulders. It was a terrible day, and all of us were encouraged to take the job to fight for a change in South Africa. Let me just share with you how Namibia came to the conclusion of taking that particular day, the 21st of March, as Independence Day. Unlike most of the African countries who were invited to go to Lancaster or to Britain, to colonial headquarters, to negotiate and to get assistance in writing their own constitutions. In the case of Namibia, we sat here in Windhoek. All those who participated in those elections in 1989, in sitting here in Windhoek, we finished writing this constitution in 80 days. And then, having done that, the question became, what's next? Seeking for a date of independence. Now, some of us felt the 26th of August was the most proper date for Namibia's independence, because during the struggle for liberation, we declared it as a Namibia Day, and it was accepted internationally as a Namibia Day. But then here in February, we were finished with writing the Constitution and waiting until August 26. There were a lot of implications. One of them was the budget of the United Nations was so calculated that they could not keep their people here in Windhoek later than independence that we settled for 21st of March. We had South African troops, apartheid troops, still in Walvis Bay, and that was a formidable force. I watched them leaving before the democratization of South Africa. I watched them, their equipments being loaded on trains and trucks. It was a formidable force. Now emerging from a guerrilla warfare to become a conventional force to defend each and every inch of Namibia was going to prove very, very difficult. And at independence, or rather the first election, was that we were so divided with those who were financed by South Africa to oppose us at the ballot box, and with such a division to try and fight South Africa in Walvis Bay or apartheid South Africa was going to prove very, very difficult, especially after the United Nations has withdrawn. That was one of the issues that we took account of and decided the most suitable date for our independence was going to be the Sharpeville Massacre Day, the 21st of March. That's how we came to that date, and we rob you of that occasion, and you call it your Human Rights Day. So we are in together on this matter, and we should be together to fight future battles.
Let's take a look at our story of the day. Those in the capital can now enjoy literature from Ukraine at the Village Garden. According to the ambassador for Ukraine in South Africa, Botswana, and Mozambique, Lyubov Abrivotova, the Ukrainian Bookshelf Initiative was launched by the country's First Lady in an effort to keep the country's culture alive amid Russia's apparent attempts to destroy libraries and universities in their war against the country.
Good day. I'm Lyubov Abrivotova, Ambassador of Ukraine to South Africa, Botswana and Mozambique. My country also is responsible for the development of relations with Namibia. That's why I'm here with a very special cultural project. Today we are opening the bookshelf. Yes, Ukrainian bookshelf, which is the initiative within the village that you obviously know in Windhoek. The idea is that you are bringing the book and taking the book instead, and then you're bringing the book back. But there is a story behind the project of Ukrainian Bookshelf, and it goes back to the start of Russian invasion of Ukraine on the 24th of February 2022. Basically what happened, the war, unprovoked war, started, and innocent people had to flee from their homes. As of today, almost 7 million people ran away, mostly women and children. And the First Lady of Ukraine said, but how we can think about our people, about how we are going to preserve their cultural and their identity and their language. And she said, let us open the bookshelves of Ukrainian books everywhere in the world, that Ukrainian refugee can go and take the book and read a fairy tale for for her child. So this is already, if I'm not mistaken, 76 or 78 bookshelf in the world, and we will continue to do so. Well, we had to adjust this bookshelf because the number of Ukrainians in Namibia yet is not huge. So we have also Ukrainian books that are translated into English. They are different nature. They are historical, they are books for children, or maybe about the tourism attraction of Ukraine. There is another dimension of this bookshelf because Russia deliberately is destroying.
Let's get into our economic news. Rand Merchant Bank has acquired a 25% stake in Remgro-owned electricity trader Energy Exchange of Southern Africa. Remgro, chaired by Johan Rupert, developed the exchange over the past 5 years, and it allows corporates to purchase electricity from renewable energy independent power producers. Let's take a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 18.21 to the US and 19.56 to the euro. It trades at 22.26 to the pound, and 2 Namibian dollars and 52 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. Zinc is down by 0.55% and Brent crude oil is down by 0.21%, trading at $84 and 44 cents per barrel. We now take a look at our international news shortly. King Charles III's state visit to France has been postponed after a request by President Emmanuel Macron, Downing Street says. The LAC Palais said the decision was taken jointly due to a 10th day of pension protests next Tuesday. The trip to Paris and Bordeaux had been due to begin on Sunday, but France saw some of the worst violence on Thursday since the demonstrations began in January. Buckingham Palace said the delay was due to the situation in France. In a statement, it said Their Majesties greatly look forward to the opportunity to visit France as soon as dates can be found. The UK government added the decision had been taken with the consent of all parties after the president asked the British government to postpone the visit. Let's take a look at our weather predictions for the weekend. For tomorrow, thunder showers are expected in Anana at 30 degrees and partly sunny weather in Ruacana also at 32 degrees. Partly sunny weather is expected along the coast with a high of 23 degrees in Walvis Bay and 21 degrees in Henties Bay. On Sunday, thunder showers are expected in Anana at 25 degrees and the sunny weather in Ruacana is at 28 degrees. Partly sunny weather is expected along the coast with a high of 22 degrees in Walvis Bay and 20 degrees in Henties Bay. We'll be taking a look at the sports news shortly. On Saturday, the Namibian Triathlon Federation will host the Africa Cup at Swakopmund, one of the prestigious events of World Triathlon, where athletes from all over the world will contest for world ranking points in the junior and elite male and female categories. The MTC Nestor Sunshine Tobias Boxing Academy will host its annual Independence Boxing Championships on the 22nd of April at the Vento Country Club. The boxing bonanza will see about 8 bouts, with the main ones to be headlined by hard puncher Charles Shinima, who will defend his WBO Africa welterweight title against the Angolan Henrique Londa, while Paulinus John Jolonimus will defend his WBO Africa super middleweight title against Mbia Kangu of Zambia. The Namibia Rugby Union's amateur team, the Windhoek Velviches, will make their return to South African provincial competition when they play against the Border Bulldogs in East London's Township Manzane on Saturday. We'll be taking a look at the highlights shortly.
Sport Wrap is a daily show focusing on all sport news and current affairs. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact sportwrap@synergy.com.ma.
Let's take a look at the news highlights from today's broadcast. Erongo Governor Neville Andres says he would like to see value addition occur in the lithium sector instead of having the resources shipped out so that impoverished communities reap the benefits. Fly Namibia held a press briefing to discuss the events in which a physically disabled woman, Elizabeth Angonji, was denied boarding due to non-compliance with the airline's conditions of carriage. The Namibian Triathlon Federation will host the Africa Cup at Swakopmund, one of the prestigious events of the World Triathlon, where athletes from all over the world will contest for world ranking points in the junior and elite male and female categories. And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the NMH platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, OneUpTwo.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 94 every weekday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. I am Glenora Shipura, and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.